Rachel, do you want to go ahead and get started?
Yes.
I think we have quorum. I think
Okay.
we're missing Commissioner Boucher, who announced she would be out, and Commissioner McWood, who I hope will be joining us. I think she's planning on it based on her emails today. So, okay, could you verify notice, please, Rachel?
Yes, it was sent out.
Great.
To all the
Great. And so now we're going to move to approval of the agenda. The agenda as it stands has nothing on the consent calendar. So if somebody wanted to change the agenda, perhaps move it to include any resolutions on the consent calendar. We're also missing Commissioner Fink. They would do so now.
Well, I guess I'll step up, and I would like to ask that both resolutions that are currently under commission business to be moved to consent. However, with that being said, I've been monitoring the emails and I don't see Commissioner Wood with us, and I don't see Commissioner Fink, and I don't know whether Commissioner Fink accepted Commissioner McWood's questions and amendments.
You know, I don't either, but that means that we could move one of the resolutions to consent.
Well, you know, we're not going to be able to introduce the other resolution either until they get here.
Well, we've got some other things to get through before we get there.
Okay. Well, if I may, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Commissioner Paggett's resolution on the consideration for the council to eliminate taxing unemployment benefits.
So anybody second that?
Second.
Okay, great. So we'll move that is moved to the consent calendar pursuant to Commissioner Reba's motion. Thank you. Next, we'll go to announcements. Are there any announcements? And I will make one brief announcement on behalf of DDOT. They are hosting 2 reversible lanes meetings. And I will tell you when they are. I believe they are, sorry if I don't have it pulled up. Should have looked this up before I announced it. We've got Commissioner McWood.
They're March 30th and April 1st.
Thank you, Commissioner Reba.
Yes.
And what time are they and how would people join?
Well, there are the 2 opportunities. I don't believe that the consultant identified the times, but let me see one thing real quick. You know, I think we're going to have to put this on our website because what was sent to the CAC members was an embedded PDF. So okay. I could either announce the WebEx address or we can post it on our website. The Tuesday, March 30th event is at 9:30. And then there's a concept review and evaluation at 11 a.m. And then the traffic analysis and parking session at 12.
Thank you. Okay, and
I found some of this information. Yeah. I'll put it in the chat too, great. But I think we should also put it on our website.
Yeah.
Will do. I believe Commissioner Siddiqui and Bob Ward also posted the information in the chat. So folks, thank you for posting in the chat. Take a look there. It looks like Tuesday, March 30th and Thursday, April 1st are the 2 meetings. First is at 9:30 a.m. The second is at 7 p.m. And the meetings should be identical, except for those who are attending. So thank you all. And now we will move to community forum, where if there are any members of the public who have any questions or want to raise concerns about issues that are not otherwise on the agenda, just use the raise hand feature, which I believe is if you click participants, you can do that, or just say so in the chat if you don't know how to raise your hand. Commissioner Reba?
No, I was demonstrating.
So, okay, moving on from the community forum, we have the consent calendar. Commissioner McWood, Commissioner Paggett's resolution was moved to the consent calendar. Commissioner Fink's was not yet because we don't know if Commissioner Fink is going to accept your proposed amendment earlier today. So do I hear any objections to the consent calendar, which includes the unemployment insurance resolution? Commissioner McWood? Hold on. You're muted, Nancy.
Just point of order, was my amendment accepted or not?
It was.
It was.
It was,
Okay,
and
thank you.
I added it to the draft I passed around and just found one typo and a copy and paste error. So I'll send that around again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I hear any objections to the consent calendar? Okay, hearing none, consent calendar is adopted. Moving on to commission business, this should be interesting. Can somebody perhaps text our friend who has the resolution coming up? Commissioner Fink, are you out there? Well, would anybody like to move Commissioner Fink's resolution? If anybody thinks that's appropriate to do so?
And I would be happy to do it, except that I had a couple of suggested changes and I don't want to put those forward without the primary sponsor being aware. That doesn't seem fair.
Okay, well,
It does sound reasonable.
Yeah.
yeah.
On the other hand,
In the interest of time, does anybody?
well, and also I think he wants to get this into the mayor's budget, and she's going to be releasing her budget on April 22nd. So delaying this until April is detrimental to the school's interests.
Right.
I'll tell you what, I will remove my friendly amendment so we can just approve a clean copy.
Okay. Would anybody care to move the Oyster-Adams resolution?
I'll move it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner McWood. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Commissioner McWood, would you care to present the resolution or?
Oh, sure. Yeah. Fortunately, I've got it in front of me. Whereas Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School, located at 2801 Calvert Street, is an inclusive community of learners dedicated to academic excellence and creativity that develops responsible leaders who are bilingual and biliterate in Spanish and English. Whereas Oyster-Adams Bilingual School is a national blue ribbon school recognized as an exemplary high-performing school by the U.S. Department of Education. Whereas Mayra Cruz is the principal at Oyster-Adams Bilingual School since 2014, and one of 10 principals nationally to receive the 2020 Terrell H. Bell Award for Outstanding School Leadership from the U.S. Department of Education. Whereas Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School served 371 students across grades pre-K to 4 to grade 3 during the 2019-2020 school year at 107% utilization. Whereas Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School has a diverse student population with more than 67% of students self-identifying as Hispanic or of Latin American origin, African American, Asian American, or 2 or more races. Whereas the cultural diversity within Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School forges long-lasting friendships among the students and families from different cultures and linguistic backgrounds, nationalities, and socioeconomic levels. Whereas the Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School playground was constructed and last updated in 2001, Whereas the 2018 Facility Condition Assessment of Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School rated playing fields, play structures, and playground surfaces as poor and fair, recommending replacements during the capital funds, using capital funds in 2021. No playground component received a good rating. Whereas the outdoor play structures at Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School require chronic repairs by the DC Department of General Services or closures due to the age and safety of the equipment. Whereas DC Public Schools Central Office staff have worked as a responsible and responsive partner to address emergency repairs and concerns related to the playground. Whereas 2 modular units were placed on the blacktop surface basketball court at Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School to help ease overcrowding. Whereas Councilmember Mary Che toured the outdoor play spaces at Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School in 2019 and 2021. Whereas Councilmember Mary Che supports funding the immediate modernization of the playground and outdoor learning spaces at Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School, whereas DCPS announced $9 billion to support creative learning models, including outdoor learning during the pandemic. Whereas Mayor Muriel Bowser will transmit her FY22 budget to the District of Columbia Council on April 22nd, 2021. Therefore, be it resolved that ANC3C strongly supports the immediate modernization and safety improvements of the playground and outdoor learning spaces at Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School. Be it further resolved that ANC3C urges Mayor Muriel Bowser and Chancellor Lawrence Farabee to tour the playground at Oyster-Adams Bilingual Elementary School and commit to funding the immediate modernization of the playground and outdoor learning spaces. Be it further resolved that the chair or the commissioner for 3CO2 or their designee represent ANC 3C on this matter.
Second.
Thank you. Hey, Nancy, thanks for filling it.
So is there discussion on this? And I believe there are some proposed amendments that we can now discuss. Commissioner Fink is with us.
Oh, is he here? Oh, good. Oh, okay.
Sorry about that. I had some apartment issues I was dealing with, but I'm here now. So I was going to say, Nancy, I know Nancy had some amendments, or some friendly amendments. I was going to go through, I'm just pulling them up right now. Or Nancy, do you just want to, do you have them in front of you, your amendments?
Sure, I do.
All right,
I do.
I can just go by one by one. Just
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. The first one, 2 of them are just about whereases. One was the 13th whereas, which is the 3rd from the end of the whereases, saying that Mary Chase supports funding the immediate modernization. And my question there was, do we, what is that based on? I just want to make sure
The council member last year and this year submitted a budget letter to the mayor saying that, you know, she supports the immediate funding of the playground. And then we took the council member about 4 weeks ago to do a tour of the playground for about 45 minutes. And we looked at all the play spaces, the outdoor spaces, and, you know, she expressed interest then. And then we've been talking to her staff once a week almost about, you know, their support and helping us working on getting, you know, the play space and the new playground equipment.
Okay.
So they've been an active partner.
Okay, great. My suggestion there would just be to insert, whereas Councilmember Che insert has publicly stated she supports funding.
Okay.
And then I just had a question about the next one, about the $9 million during the pandemic for the outdoor learning spaces.
Mhm.
I wasn't clear why that was inserted into the resolution. Is that funding that might be available to Oyster, or is it there?
I believe it's based off of you know, public statements by DCPS and the chancellor regarding grant money available to help, you know, kids, you know, catch up for learning loss during the pandemic, and also to provide, to equip schools to be able to, teach all year round, social distance, and also use all available spaces. I mean, it's interesting because Oyster-Adams has a very big playground that's not, developed well, and they could definitely use it. And they also have a large population that probably had some learning loss. So, I saw it as another like funding source to help, to take baby steps to help modernize the playground.
Okay, okay,
Commissioner McWood,
yeah, yes.
forgive me, I wanted to jump in before because for some reason I'm getting some breakup in the audio, but Commissioner Fink, on the first friendly amendment that Commissioner Wood presented, did you say that Councilmember Shea indicated support due to a recent walkthrough?
Yeah, due to a walkthrough in, I would say, mid-February, late February, and then also by her budget letter. And I don't know if the budget letter is public yet, but it's been submitted.
Okay, the reason I ask is because I don't have the resolution up in front of me, but I would like to add that it may be important, I mean, for historical purposes, that that whereas reads that Councilmember Shea visited the site on February such and such a date and voiced her support during her visit, because that kind of locks that down.
No,
Otherwise, it's kind
I
of
agree.
vague.
If you want, I can grab the date right now, and I accept that suggestion. Thank you. It's good.
Commissioner Fink, I don't know if you want to include this, but I found a link to the $9 million aspect. It's to the Washington Post. I put the article in the chat if you want to add that.
Sure.
As support for the, I think, 14th whereas.
Yeah.
I accept that.
Yeah, okay. And then on the resolves, Jason, the second resolve, rather than urges the mayor, I just
We can change the language. That's
to
fine.
request.
Can
Okay,
we say yeah, we can say request. Yeah.
okay. And then since the chancellor was also included as the subject of that resolve, I just thought the second part of it, we could split off into a separate resolve that's directed to the mayor regarding
That's
the
fine.
funding. That 3C urges Mayor Bowser to include funding in the proposed FY22 budget.
So the one thing about that is that where I think I would say FY22 budget, and if you really want to get technical, like finding money, either reprogram money from the FY21 budget as well. Because I'm happy to include both. I just want, because FY22 money can't be spent until a year later.
October,
So,
yeah.
So anything that could happen between now and October, so that's why we could say something about FY22 budget and FY21 and FY22 budget.
Yeah, but you put reprogrammed FY21
Okay, that's good.
budget and proposed FY22 budget. Yeah, that covers it. That's all I have.
No, those are good. Thank you. That's helpful. Bo, do you have to do another second or?
No, well, so, you accepted the changes, right?
Yes.
Okay, so the resolution, Commissioner Reba seconded the movement of the resolution that Commissioner McWood moved on your behalf.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.
I mean, Commissioner.
So now we will vote on the resolution as amended. That's correct, I believe. And so all those in favor of the resolution as amended, please raise your hand and keep it up so I can see it, commissioners. And it is unanimous. I know that Commissioner Boucher indicated that she would vote for the resolution were she able to make it this evening, but unfortunately she couldn't. But we wish her well. So thank you all. We now move on to our next item, which is the Secretary's report. Secretary Reba.
Thank you, sir. At this time, I'd like to move the minutes from our January 25th, 2021 meeting. I believe there are no objections. There were some tweaks that were adjusted. So if I could go ahead and move them. If someone else has additional comments, please let us know at this time.
Sounds like you should go ahead and move them, Commissioner Reba.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
Second,
Thank you all. Okay, all those in favor of the minutes as presented by Commissioner Reba? Okay, so
I will also take this time to also introduce the minutes from our February 17th, 2021 meeting. I sent out the draft. I did not hear back from any commissioners as it related to any changes or tweaks. So if there are any, please say so.
first up, Rachel, the minutes were approved from the January meeting. Just for the record, does anybody have any changes to the February minutes? And Commissioner Reba, are you moving those minutes right now, or are you just?
I am going to move those minutes if there are no additional tweaks or comments.
Oh, fellow commissioners, any tweaks or comments? Hearing none. Oh, it gets me a second for Commissioner Reba's
Second.
movement.
Please.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
All those in favor of approving Commissioner Reba's February 17th meeting minutes, please raise your hand and keep it up. All right, it is unanimous. Thank you, Secretary Reba. And moving on to the Treasurer's report. Commissioner Siddiqui, I believe you have quite the Treasurer's report this evening.
Trying to make it quick. So first I would like to move the Q3 FY 2020 report for reapproval. There was a spreadsheet error, not on our ANC, but from the Office of ANC, from the spreadsheet they sent us. And because of that, a change needed to be made. I believe I've sent it all out to commissioners. I did not hear any comments. I've also submitted sort of invoices and missing canceled checks from that report to the ONC, and they have replied by email that they've accepted those. So I would like to move the reapproval of the Q3 FY 2020 report.
All right, here's a second.
second,
Thank you. Okay, are there any questions about the Q3 2020 report? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote on it. All those in favor of the Q3 2020 report, please say aye or raise your hand or both. Okay, great. Again, unanimous. Thank you, Commissioner Siddiqui. Next up will be the
Oh, I have some. I have
2020 report, right? Yeah,
Sorry,
you've got Q4 2020, and then yeah. Sorry, I'm stealing your thunder.
Oh no, I thought you were moving on to something else. So I just wanted.
No. I know you've got a lot more.
Okay. Similarly, I would like to also move to reapprove the Q4 FY 2020 report. Again, there was an error in the spreadsheet submitted by OANC. It was not our fault. I believe I've sent the revised report to all the commissioners, and I've heard no comments. I've also submitted the cancel checks and invoices to OANC, and they have accepted those. There is one minor issue left from Q4, which I believe Commissioner Pagets is helping me resolve, related to the grant application. However, that shouldn't stop us from moving to approve the revised report, because the report doesn't change, and I've been advised by the OANC to get that report reapproved as well. So I would like to move to approve the Q4, reapprove the Q4 report.
Great, thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Great, thank you. Okay, is there any discussion on the Q4 FY 2020 report? Okay, seeing none. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Approval, okay. All those opposed? Okay, nobody's opposed. Rachel, thank you. Commissioner Siddiqui, you have more, right?
No, I just have some announcements then. The Q1 FY 2021 report also needs to get approved, and hopefully that'll get done next month. And we got our security fund check sent away, so now we can finally redo commission business. So we started that again.
And now you got to get up and turn your light on again.
I do. I have to reuse energy.
Thank you, Commissioner Siddiqui. Okay, so now moving on to SMD reports. Commissioner Rebo, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. I have one. There are 2 conversations currently in the works for the former Starbucks location and for the former Dunkin' Donuts location. The owner of that development is in conversations with 2 separate potential establishments, and I'll look forward to providing more details moving forward once those conversations are solidified. Also, there have been conversations regarding a development at 2735 Connecticut Avenue, which is a single-family home, which will be turned into and redeveloped into an 8-unit building. Conversations have been in process with the neighbors to the north, to the rear, and with the Woodley Park Community Association. There's one more meeting that the developer needs to have with the neighbors to the rear, but I'm hopeful and anticipating that this application will be on the April public space and zoning calendar, as well as the April A&C public notice meeting. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Reba. Moving across the street to Commissioner Fink is rejoining. Commissioner Fink, are you up for presenting right now? On your presenting your SMD report?
Hang on one second. I was just switching devices. Do you mind coming back to me?
Sure, not at all. Commissioner Pagets, are you up for presenting your SMD report now?
I have nothing to report.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, Commissioner Siddiqui.
Yes, 2 things. One is the continued difficulties with the Hearst Park and pool construction. So the delays continue from what Department of General Services, DGS has announced. So they had a milestone that the field would be finished in January, and they didn't meet that. Then they said it would be finished in February. In a report, they didn't meet that either. It looks like there's still gravel on most of the field, so it probably looks no time sooner than July. We haven't heard any updates from that, so that continues to be a problem to be hearing from DGS. And so the community I know is very, very distressed by this because there's no way of holding them accountable. The water issues, DGS had said that somewhat of them are resolved. So they had said that they had removed the dewatering systems beyond the pool house retaining walls and installed the building sump pumps, but there's water still pouring out of the drain at the same 7,500 gallons a day. So there's still no answer to that either. Neighbors have also reported seeing water standing on the field. So there's been other issues. There's been other small issues, like a truck sort of rolled over a stop sign, and that stop sign was reinstalled with the help of Councilmember Che's office. But some of the longer term issues are still there. So we're having trouble getting some type of follow-up from DGS. I'll be following up tomorrow as well with another email. So I'm hoping that just want to let everyone in the community know, as they hear things, please do send them to me, and also send them to other people that are involved in the community and Councilmember Che's office, that we should try and get these resolved. The second thing I just wanted to quickly mention was there's some trash issues happening behind the 3500 block of Connecticut Avenue. And I've also been working with Councilmember Che's office to resolve that. There's overflowing trash going on back there. And so we're trying to work with the property manager, as well as some of the residents and DC departments to get that resolved. But that is also an issue that's ongoing right now. So again, if anyone in the community has more information or would like to provide more information on that, please let me know.
Thank you, Commissioner Siddiqui. Commissioner Hoyt, you're up, and I understand there's a big announcement, or something big is happening before our next meeting with your employer.
No comment at this time. It'd be great to have baseball back, but yes. Work continues next door at 3900 Wisconsin with the City Ridge project, and at 4000 Wisconsin with, I believe, what they're calling Upton Place, which they hope to have a website up soon with images and live camera feeds. But if any members of the community have questions, concerns, observations, please feel free to reach out to me anytime. That's all for me.
Thank you. Commissioner Gersten.
Yes, hi. So I just continue to work with DDOT on very much needed roadway repairs and sidewalk repairs. So that's kind of an ongoing situation. But besides that, nothing else.
Thank you. Commissioner McWood.
I just have a short report, all DDOT related. I'm on pothole watch and sort of reporting them as I find them. And I'm also following up on some DDOT issues that were tabled during the pandemic, including some traffic calming issues, teacher parking for John Eaton School. Unfortunately, there was another accident at the intersection of 34th and Newark about a week ago that I believe either totaled 2 cars or seriously damaged both cars. And so I'm renewing conversations with DDOT about that. I talked to them about 2 years ago now, I guess, trying to get DDOT to come out and do an evaluation of that intersection and offer some recommendations. And after repeated entreaties that even involving Councilmember Che, the report back from DDOT was that someone had gone out there and evaluated it without notifying me or anyone else, and determined that it was just fine. So I'm going to try again.
Thank you, Commissioner McWood. Commissioner Fink.
Adam, no update.
Okay, thank you. So I've got a quick update for 3C04, and I believe that Commissioners McWood and Siddiqui might also be interested in potential long-term solutions. But I've received a whole bunch of complaints about the park and shop loading in the alley back there and the alley behind businesses between Ordway and Macomb that affects Ordway Gardens. Basically, just with the amount of extra retail traffic because of the pandemic, there's also extra deliveries to fill the shelves. And that results in more trucks. It results in more trucks queuing. And there's trying to figure out what the solution is long term. And I'm going to work with Zach Rabarczyk from Cleveland Park Main Streets on this. But Commissioner Siddiqui and McWood, I'll keep you apprised moving forward. But right now, just the traffic and pedestrian and safety issues, and not to mention the noise for folks who live in Cleveland Terrace and Ordway Gardens, is getting a little untenable. But that's it for my report. And anybody out there who would like to talk to me about that loading issue, the loading issues on the eastern half of Cleveland Park, please let me know. So with that, we move to adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Commissioner Reba refuses. Do I hear a second? Going once.
Second.
Thank you. All right, folks. Thank you all for joining us, and see you next month.
Not everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Wow.